After Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness, the devil left him, and angels came to minister to him, providing food and care. My friends, welcome to Old Stonewall Farm, where many of you have been asking, where have I been this Lent? Well, I've been taking many lonesome walks through the valley. As the spiritual goes, Jesus walked this lonesome valley. He had to walk it by himself. I've been on a search for springtime hope and renewal, like these daffodils finally breaking through the cold ground. I have yet to spot any of my crocuses or snowdrops that I planted last fall, but I'm hopeful. And so, I've been retreating from the world, walking a lonesome valley. Well, I'm not really alone. Frida, the hen, keeps following me everywhere. She gets picked on by the rest of the chickens. A reminder that this world isn't easy. Many times we feel picked on, neglected, forgotten. But I'm walking the lonesome valley because I want to find that new thing that God has for me. But to get to any new thing, we must all walk that lonesome valley, not fearing the loneliness or the sadness or the quietness. I come here often and I'm reminded of a goose that many years ago was caught in the middle of this pond in a trap, and his squawking to get free was so painful to hear. I did call the game warden. But there was another goose who wouldn't leave its side and kept circling it, keeping it company as it tried to set itself free. I'm reminded how God is always right by my side, listening to me squawking but never leaving me, and always there to keep me company and to set me free. And so I walk the lonesome valley and I wait, and I open wide the window to let in the breath of fresh air that God has for us all. So the other day, I was almost late for church because I was stuck behind an Amish buggy. Now, we didn't used to have Amish up in this area, but a few years ago, they all moved into upstate New York on the border of Vermont. So when my husband and I moved back to the area after serving a church down in Maryland, which was on the border of Pennsylvania, so there was a lot of Amish around there. When we moved back to this area, I couldn't believe that there were Amish up here, and I felt like they followed us back to Vermont. But I was heading to church, and there was the Amish buggy, and behind the buggy was a tractor trailer carrying propane. So it wasn't wise for that truck driver to try to pass the buggy. So there was the tractor trailer, and then there was two other cars, and then myself. Now, of course, my first reaction was very frustrating. I wanted to pass it. Then all of a sudden, I realized, wait a minute, this is all wrong. What would it be like if we lived our life on Amish buggy time, going at Amish buggy speed? And it really started to calm me down when I thought, what's the rush? We're eventually going to get where we're going. Why do we have to speed up? Why do we have to pass people? Why do we have to just feel this anxiety when something slows us down? And that is such a wrong way to live. So many of you have been asking, where have you been, Pastor Donna? This is a season of Lent, the 40 days leading us up to Holy Week and then the celebration of Easter. And we missed your Ash Wednesday video. And where are your Lenten videos about Lenten wilderness and whatnot? And yeah, I have been missing in action. My apologies. But this year for Lent, I decided to really take a step back. And that meant also just being very quiet here on YouTube and all of social media. In fact, I've really curtailed all of my usage of social media. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't miss it, but I will admit it did feel a little weird. It felt like something was missing when I didn't check it every day. But after you get over a couple of days of not doing that, after you get through the rough patch of trying to break a habit, it gets easier. So I'm at that point right now. But this Lenten season, I have truly been walking that lonesome valley. That's not to say that we are alone. I always say to all of us, there's always God holding us. There's always the Spirit giving us the courage to do amazing things. But that spiritual always brings a twinge of sadness when I think about, I have to walk this lonesome valley. I have to walk it on my own. Now, again, it's not that we walk alone. God is always with us, but that old spiritual reminds us that at the beginning of Lent, Jesus entered into the wilderness and he was alone and he had to turn to God's word. He had to really hold on to the promises that God will get him through. And so that old spiritual reminds us that if Jesus had to go through the wilderness alone, so do we. And that is the time, that quiet time, that lonely time, that hopefully we emerge remembering that truly we are always loved and cherished. Yes, Jesus had to walk that lonesome valley. We too have to walk that lonesome valley. And so that is where I've been, my friends. These past few weeks of Lent, I have been feeling this weird sense of grief. I wake up in the morning as if something has been ripped from my arms. And it unsettles me because I always wonder, is that the Spirit warning me that something is coming down the road to prepare yourself? And I don't want to fret too much about the what ifs, because whatever might come, God will give us the strength that we need for that moment. I know that. I've been there. But this Lenten season, I have been waking up with this sense of emptiness and a void, as if something has been ripped from my arms. And the more that I have thought about that and prayed on it, I've come to realize that emptiness, that feeling of something being ripped from me, taken from me, is actually part of me saying goodbye, part of me dying, part of me saying goodbye to the old self. I read recently that it's okay to change, and I know that sounds silly. Of course it's okay to change, but I think sometimes we hold on too tightly to who we think we should be, or hold on too tightly to the dreams that we thought were the dreams we really wanted. And so that sense of goodbye of myself is my old dreams, my old perception of what I think I want in life, saying goodbye, letting it go so that I could truly make space for God to show me what God wants. So this Lenten season, I have been walking the Lonesome Valley and I've been really taking a step back. I've been very quiet lately. And even though I have all these ideas of conversations that I want to share with you and videos, and every time when I go out for my walk, I see something like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to share that with all of you, I haven't been. So I've been taking quiet time. I've been spending more time out in the woods, but not doing my speed walk or getting my exercise in. Rather, I have been sauntering. I saunter through the woods. I don't rush my walks anymore. And I love that. I think it was John Muir who wrote about, I don't go hiking, I saunter through the woods. I love that idea. So I've been pondering a lot about that saying that we change and it's okay to change. And then there was another writing that I came across, which simply said too, that when you start to change, you don't have to announce it to everybody. So I've been thinking a lot about who I am about Old Stonewall Farm. I've been doing this for almost 6+ years. And where am I going with it? I don't want to stop doing this channel, but I'm wondering, how is it evolving? And so I'm holding it in prayer, and I'm not going anywhere, but I just am thinking about a few things. So what about your Lonesome Valley? How has your Lenten journeys been? Where are you right now? I guess I always take this assessment of where I am right now in the month of March, which is coming in like a lion and going out like a lion, by the way, where you have a lot of wicked weather coming. But I realized that I take this time to do an assessment, to check in with my soul in March, because 6 years ago, everything shut down because of the pandemic. And it was, I think, officially March 13th when the whole world began to shut down. And it was a time of great upheaval, of uncertainty, of fear, of a lot of unknowns. But for me, and again, I don't wish a pandemic ever again to happen, but that time to retreat and walk away from the world was such a gift for me. But 6 years has gone by, and I can't sustain that life I had 6 years ago. That was a time when I felt like I had more me time to pursue my projects and my hobbies that I wanted to get to. That was a time that I really dedicated to going outside and running and focusing on my health. But I realized now that I've been trying to sustain that schedule for way too long, and it's just not sustainable. I don't have the time anymore to really dedicate to running for 2 hours and doing weights. The world is back to being the world and pressing in on me with all the demands. And so I've been struggling for a long time trying to sustain that schedule that I had, and I just can't anymore. I'm not as physically fit as I was 6 years ago. And sometimes I look at the older videos and there's a few that I'm like, wow, what happened to me? But anyway, everything changes and it's okay. We all change, and we need to celebrate the change and not be afraid of change. And we need to remember too that many times we have to let go of what was in order for that beautiful change to make us the what can be. And I never really thought about that until right now when I just said it. Holding on to old schedules, holding on to old perceptions, holding on to old dreams can be so suffocating, almost as suffocating as not dreaming at all and not daring to do anything. So there's two sides to that coin. You can really stifle yourself by holding on to an old dream, and you could really stifle yourself by being afraid to pursue a new dream. So where does that leave us? It leaves us in a really good place. It leaves us in the place where we just need to surrender and trust God with each and every day we have, and be willing to let go what we need to let go of, and not be afraid to try the new things that come to us to try. I know that after Lent is over and when the season of Easter comes, I need to emerge from my Lonesome Valley. And I pray that I emerge with new energy and a new focus. I also pray that I emerge from that Lonesome Valley, that I'm walking with the realization and the commitment to really connect truly with more people and not be so alone all the time. I do work from home, and that could get very lonesome. And I don't realize it because I'm okay with that. I'm a creative person. I like my creative space. But I also have come to realize this Lent that I do need to get out a little bit more. So I want to give you that permission to take a step back, to let go of something that you might need to let go of, I give you that permission to dream new dreams, and I give you that permission to be silent. It's okay to have a season in which you withdraw, but don't stay there too long. Always come back out into the world where there are people who are waiting to be in your company. What a beautiful thought that there are people that are waiting to be blessed by you. It's always not about us. What do I need? But many times it's about who we are and what we bring to the world in order to fulfill what the world needs. I'm going to think about that some more. It's not about what I can get from others, what I can get from you, what I can get from YouTube. It's not about any of that. It really does come down to, what can I offer? How can I bring a smile to your face? If Jesus had to walk the lonesome valley by himself, then so do we every so often. And there's nothing to be afraid of, because truly we are never really alone. There's the beginning of Lent, where we have the story of Jesus going out into the wilderness. And depending on what scripture you read, one version ends with, well, after Satan left, after all these temptations that Satan tempted Jesus with, the angels came to tend to Jesus. One year when I was serving a church, I had these figurines that I love, these little angels. Now, this one is my beaten up prayer angel. As you can see, she's kind of gnawed at, and she used to have wings, but my puppy, Sophie, my first Bernese mountain dog, Sophie got a hold of this prayer angel and ate the wings and really did a job on her head. But I always liked this version because when I look at this angel all beaten up, but still on her knees in prayer, I can relate. Can you relate to that? I can. Because when we are beaten up by the world, not just frisky Bernese mountain dog puppies, but when the world beats us up like this, there's no place else to go but on our knees and turn to God. So I had this prayer angel that I brought in for the kids, and I also had this other angel who still had wings. The dog didn't get to it. So I asked one of the girls at the church to set up the angels around a candle that I had because I wanted to give a lesson to the children on prayer. When I came back out of the church kitchen, I needed desperately a cup of coffee. I saw what the girl did. There was the candle, and then there was the beaten up prayer angel. But rather than put the other angel on the other side of the candle, like I thought would make a nice little vignette, the little girl rather took the prayer angel and placed the other angel right behind her. So there was the candle, the beaten up prayer angel, and the angel hovering over her. I looked at that setup and I found it so powerful. And I thought, this little child captured the beauty of prayer even better than I could, a pastor with seminary training. A little child got it, that no matter where we are in life, our struggles and our challenges, no matter what, there's always God's angels right there, helping us, telling us it's going to be okay. So every Lent, I do take out my angels and I do set them up around the candle, as that little girl did, because it reminds me that while I might be walking that lonesome valley, I'm not alone. That's where I'm at this Lenten season. I'm in the wilderness and I'm in a lonely place. Yes, I feel alone. And there is a twinge of sadness. There is a sense of loss, of something that has been ripped from me. And I believe that's my old self saying goodbye so that God can make something new within me. That's where I'm at. But as I walk each and every day towards Holy Week, towards the promise of the empty tomb, I know that every challenge, every cry, every ache is being seen by God. And a beautiful angel is there guarding me and helping me. So my friends, it's always wonderful to have you here at Old Stonewall Farm. Always a joy. And I cannot wait to see you again. But until then, keep walking the valley. Keep walking with great faith. And know there are angels all around. Never, ever lose hope. And please do me a favor. Let go of any old dream that just doesn't serve you well anymore. Let go of your old self that perhaps you outgrew. Let go and let God. So until I see you again, many blessings to you. Bye-bye.